me, a T-Rex, and with about a week to go before Octoberfast begins, I'm sure you're wondering, where's my shopping list? Here's some things I want to mention. You should buy 3 days worth of produce at a time for major freshness. Trust me, you're not gonna like it if you don't use fresh produce. If you have old, cruddy, wilted produce, your juice is not gonna taste as good. You want your juice to taste fresh. You want maximum nutrients, don't you? So buy 3 days worth at a time for freshness. I'm gonna show you how to do that. If you want to drink all mean green juice, I'm gonna tailor this to you. If you're not, and you're gonna replace it with some things and you're on a budget, you're gonna have to make adjustments to this yourself. I know you can figure it out. I know you can. So the recipe for mean green juice, according to Joe Cross, that made the film Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, that you should have watched by now, and if you haven't, please do that right now. Come back, I'll still be here. Okay, here's the recipe. 6 to 8 kale leaves. This is for 1 serving, okay? We're just getting started. I'm not giving you the shopping list yet. This is the recipe. 1 cucumber, the bigger the better. Half of a lemon. 4 stalks of celery. No, that's not 4 huge things of celery. That's 4 ribs of celery, some people like to call them. 1 inch of ginger, probably less ginger if you're new. If you've never had the mean green and if you're not used to it, you may actually be like me and not really like it at first, but trust me, you will acquire a taste and you will grow to like it when it's all that you have. So the ginger part of it, you want to add a lot less ginger, or maybe no ginger at first if you don't like it. It's not entirely necessary. But I love ginger now. I put a huge piece of ginger in there. But at first I was like, ugh, I put too much ginger, and I was like, I don't like this at all. So that's a common mistake. So you want to put maybe less ginger at first, but the recipe calls for 1 inch of ginger. Okay, and 2 apples. I prefer the Granny Smith apples. They're tart, they're sweet, they add a lot of flavor, they really pack a punch. So definitely Granny Smith apples. I like to use my Breville juicer with 2, they call them schoolboy Granny Smith apples. They're smaller, and bam, you can put them right in the top of the juicer. You don't have to cut them or anything. However, I noticed that the newer recipe from Joe Cross actually calls for coring your apples, and I think that's because a lot of people are really freaked out about apple seeds. Oh, they got cyanide. You would have to juice a hell of a lot of apple seeds in 1 24-hour period to poison yourself. It's not even really possible, and that would clear out of your system by the next time you juice. So please don't worry about the apple seeds. It's not going to be a problem. You really have to ingest a lot of apple seeds, and the apple seeds are discarded anyways, so I've been juicing a long time, fasts of over 100 days sometimes, and I've never gotten poisoned by apple seeds. So the newer Joe Cross recipe calls for coring the apples, and if that makes you feel more comfortable, go right ahead. You're probably going to get a little less juice. So all of these ingredients here that I've just given you are the basic ingredients for mean green juice. Let's review that. 6 to 8 leaves of kale, 1 cucumber, 1/2 lemon, 4 ribs of celery, 1 inch of ginger, and 2 Granny Smith apples. What do I peel? What do I not peel? Well, I'm glad you asked. Because when I first started juicing, I thought that the cucumber peels tasted bitter. Because you know when you eat them, they taste bitter? Well, I thought that, so I was peeling them. And peel them if you must, or if you please. But later, I didn't peel them. Everything seems just about the same. So, the lemon you definitely want to peel. Lemon peels have something very bitter in them, like citrus oil that's very bitter. So, I peel those. Some people actually don't peel them. Leave as much of the pith or the white part as you can. That has a lot of nutrients in it. The ginger, no, you don't have to peel, but be very careful in putting that through your juicer. Don't like ram it down your juicer if you've got a centrifuge one. The masticating juicer seems to have no problem, but the peel can sometimes get stuck in there. Mine got stuck in the middle a few times, and then everything I put in after it didn't really get chewed up that much because the little teeth were covered by the peel of the ginger. So nowadays, I do my ginger last, and then I put a cucumber in afterwards to wash that ginger flavor through. Just some tips from an old granny juicer. By the way, Since it's going to be October, it is the season for cucumbers. Do you have friends who grow cucumbers? Because if you do, they probably have way too many and they'll probably give them to you. Now, one of my tips is how to pick a good fresh cucumber. Look at the tips of the cucumber first. If they're soft or they're a little shriveled, don't buy it. This is going to get worse the very next day. Make sure the whole thing is hard and that it is crisp and, looks pretty uniform. Also, you can grow your own celery. It takes a really long time, but it's really cool to try this. It might not help you in this juice fast unless you get started right now, but when you use celery and you chop off the butt of it, you can stick that in a little bowl of water and it'll get roots and start growing, and you can plant that outside or in a pot inside, as long as you make sure to fertilize it. So you can grow your own celery that way. You can also do that with pineapples and a whole bunch of other stuff. Also, apples. You can buy a volume of apples in a box, and usually if you go to your produce section, you say, hey, can I buy like a bunch of apples in a box for cheaper? I have New Seasons near me, and they usually do that at a little bit of a discount. So that's a good way to do it for apples, and refrigerate them. They last a very long time. Also, lemons and citrus lasts a lot longer, goes into a dormant state if you put it in your refrigerator. I highly recommend refrigerating. Getting down to this part, I like to add a lime and a small beet that I peel to my mean green recipe. It adds a little bit more sugar, but hey, it's really good. So if you want to do that, that's really good. Or you can replace the apples with a pineapple. Oh my God, that is so good. I think I'm getting into the recipe portion. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But I've just got to tell you, adding a pineapple to your green juice is awesome. And sometimes a little bit of pulp will get through your juice. I recommend getting one of those metal strainers. You kind of pour your juice through that into a big pitcher. And what happens is, catches the rest of that pulp. And usually there's quite a bit of pulp still left. So I make sure to do that first. And then if I'm adding a pineapple, I do that last. And the reason why is because you can't really strain a pineapple. It turns out kind of mushy like a smoothie. So that's going to add a little bit of extra pulp to your juice. But if you want a special treat and you want to be a little more full and you want to add some extra calories to your juice because maybe you're going to be doing something active, then by all means, add a pineapple. Just do it last if you plan to strain your juice. You strain the rest of your juice first because you can't strain a pineapple. It's like sludge. Now, how much do you buy for a 3-day supply? Oh my God, you can probably figure that out just by using the recipe. However, I've done a little bit of that for you. And you may end up with extra and you may not. Like, is every serving of the recipe that I gave you going to make a 32-ounce glass? I'm not sure. I recommend 3 32-ounce glasses a day at least, or more, as much as you want. Remember, you can drink as much juice as you want in a day. So, as long as you drink 3 32-ounce glasses, the yield is going to vary due to the size of your produce. Sometimes you get these really huge cucumbers or these really huge celery bunches, and it makes more juice. Or sometimes you get a wimpy celery bunch because it's on sale and it's crappy celery. It's not going to make as much. Now for the shopping list, okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, get your pen and paper because you're going to want 5 bunches of kale, 9 cucumbers, 5 lemons. Make sure that they're hard lemons and not soft and mushy. 5 bunches of celery. You're going to want to get 2 big old trees of ginger. And ginger is one thing I don't want you to skimp on. I want you to buy organic because it's way more flavorful. It tastes way better. The huge ginger that looks like big old ball things all jointed together in a deformed tree, that's not good stuff. You want the skinny ginger that's a big deer antler. Get the organic. Get the organic. Get the organic. There's nothing I can stress more. It tastes way better. And the apples, you're going to want 18 of those, okay? Could be more, could be less, depending on the size of the apple, depending on how sweet you want your juice. In closing, I'd like to say that here's a video link right here. Click on this if you want to watch a video called What If I I don't like green juice. Here's what to do if you don't like green juice. This is going to be your staple throughout the Octoberfast. So you'll probably want to watch this video in case you don't like green juice. When you click this link, it's going to open it on your window. So it'll stop this video here, and then you could watch the other video, and then you can come back to this video, and you can continue right where we left off. I promise I'll still be here. Clickety-click! See? We're back, and everything's okay. In closing, I just want to say, please remember which things are bitter and which things are sweet. Because if you don't like the juice, you can add more things that are sweet and less things that are bitter. And then you can slowly, gradually get back to the regular recipe. So I hope this helps you. There's your recipe for mean green to start you off. Thank you, Joe Cross. I'm going to also provide a list of documentaries that I highly recommend you watch during your fast. This is your homework. You got to drink the juice. Yeah, I told you that's all you have to do. But actually, you have to watch these documentaries too. Check it out. All right, you're almost ready to go. So keep this video handy, make a list, get yourself going, get yourself motivated. Octoberfast, yeah. Stay motivated. And remember, I'm doing it and you can too.